First, the Comm talks. We will start with Muppets for a Better World, promoting girls' education in Afghanistan. This presentation by Clemence Quint from Magenta Consulting and Danny Labin, Vice President for International Projects at Sesame Workshop. Over to you, Clemence and Danny.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. We're here today to tell you the story of Zari and her little brother Zirak, and how together they are slowly transforming the perceptions and social norms around girls' education. Zari is a 6-year-old girl with a sharp mind and a knack for asking questions. She just started going to school, and she's loving it. Her little brother, Zirak, is 4 years old, he wears glasses, and he cannot wait to go to school himself. He looks up to Zari with admiration and respect. Both of those characters are Muppets, and they have been created explicitly to promote girls' empowerment and education for all in a country where women's and girls' rights have been systematically combated, Afghanistan. But what do Muppets have to do with girls' education in Afghanistan, you're wondering? Well, in a country where girls' education was banned for 5 years under Taliban rule, a country where 50% of girls never made it to school, and a country which still has the highest level of gender disparity in primary education in the world, Muppets can, as it turns out, be instrumental in breaking down the social barriers to girls' education and to advancing girls' empowerment. You see, girls' education is a complex and multifaceted issue in Afghanistan. Social barriers, such as early marriage and the lack of female teachers, still prevent many Afghan girls from going to school. It's a value system that pervades every aspect of a girl's life, from whether she goes to school, to who and when she marries, her ability to work, and to make decisions for herself. In parts of Afghanistan, it is still difficult for people to understand that girls can have the same agency than boys have. So, to improve girls' access to education, we realized that it would need to become culturally acceptable and desirable for Afghan girls to go to school. And in order to do so, there would need to be inspirational role models that girls and boys could relate to. And we would need to take the time to do so in a sustainable manner.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes? Hi, good morning. Bakhchi Simsim, or Sesame Garden in the Dari and Pashto languages, is the Afghan version of Sesame Street. And it was created to do just that, to help make going to school for young girls in Afghanistan acceptable and desirable. And we know that we can make the greatest impact when kids are very young, while their brains are still developing, while they're developing and building a sense of the world around them, and before hard-to-change stereotypes begin to take root. And it turns out that combining media and lovable characters like Muppets can be a really powerful combination. Sesame Street has tackled some of the most challenging and in some cases taboo topics around the world. If we can move to the next slide, you'll see that we've addressed HIV and AIDS education in South Africa. We have a WASH program right now in several countries. We're addressing autism awareness in the US. We also have a multi-year project in Bangladesh, and we've worked here in Indonesia. And yet, in spite of all this experience that we've had around the world, Afghanistan has really proven to be an especially complex environment to work for all of the reasons that Clemence just explained. It's really been a place where only with the most strategic planning and sensitivity have we been able to produce the program. If you can move to the next slide. So over the course of the last 7 years, Sesame Garden in Afghanistan has actually managed to become truly beloved by children, trusted by parents and respected by educators. The series is an integral part of the media and education landscape in Afghanistan. And it's really just to give a little bit of perspective historically, because it wasn't really that long ago. Just in 2001 was when television ceased to be banned in Afghanistan. And there are currently, just 17 years later, 3 million children a year who are exposed to Sesame Garden, either on television, radio, mobile, through social media, or community outreach, which is really exciting because if you do the math, it actually means that about 1 in every 4 children in Afghanistan under the age of 14 has today some exposure or touch point with the Bakhchi Simsim Sesame Garden programming.
Let me tell you a bit more about the magic actually happening behind the scene. Sesame Garden is a great show, if I may say so, but it's not the only reason it became so popular so quickly. Behind its success is actually a carefully designed and executed social and behavioral change communication strategy that utilizes the power of media to reach, engage, and impact every child in the country. Over the past 7 years, we managed to build a brand that is trusted, accessible, effective, and relevant. But so how did we do it? Well, at first, the show was a co-production. So Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit organization, partnered with local organizations such as Moby Group and Equal Access to make sure that the content was of the highest quality and that it would reach the widest public possible. Second, we made sure that the content was locally relevant and culturally grounded. So Zari, for instance, wears a hijab with a school uniform like every other Afghan girl in the country. Her traditional outfit is made of fabrics from the Pashtun, Tajik, Hazara, and Uzbek ethnicity. She represents Afghanistan in its diversity. And finally, we worked very closely with local partners, such as NGOs and governments, including with the Ministry of Education, ensuring that there was support and buy-in for the initiative.
And it was only when we had all of these various components in place did we begin weaving in the social messaging about sensitive issues. We started off addressing issues that are non-controversial, like healthy habits and hand washing. And once we'd really developed the brand, we were able to address some of these more sensitive and tricky topics. And I think we were able to do that with great success, as we'll get to in the research. But we really wanted to make sure that the audience would be as large as possible, and we recognized that television was only going to get us so far, so we actually upscaled and ended up with a radio version of the series as well. And we realized soon thereafter that even with radio, that there were media penetration issues in rural areas. So we embarked on a community engagement initiative that involved community viewings, listening circles, and really bringing the program, as you can see here, to children wherever they are. And it was really, really successful in terms of engaging parents and educators and even community elders. We also embarked on an extensive process of formative research to really make sure that Zari and Zirak were going to be both relatable and beloved. And we've had some really very encouraging findings. There was a national survey in 2017 that found that Zari was both recognized and beloved by girls as well as boys. So what that really means is that at the moment there's this generation of kids growing up in Afghanistan, boys and girls, who are looking up to Zari, a girl character, as their role model. And if we move to the next slide really quickly, you'll see that Zari has actually had the opportunity to meet some of her own role models, some of the world's most influential people, Michelle Obama and Rula Ghani, the First Lady of Afghanistan. And what's exciting for us here is that obviously the characters we know from the research are able to affect perception, but with this kind of platform on the level of advocacy, we really believe that these characters can also affect policy.
And as we all know, measuring sustainable and effective behavioral change is a complex endeavor. Yet, we've already found out that the show is contributing to greater gender equality and to a shift of perceptions in the role of women in the Afghan society. We also confirm the popularity of the show. Recent findings say that Zari is the most recognizable children's TV character in the country. The research also found that regular viewers are more likely than kids who do not watch the show to say it is important for both boys and girls to go to school. Regular viewership is also associated with positive views of gender equality in sports, and regular viewers are more likely to say that both boys and girls can become doctors and engineers when they grow up. And parents' views also show capacity for transformation. Some of the most encouraging findings reveal that Afghan fathers cite Sesame Garden as having changed their minds about sending their own daughters to school. And this is really one of the greatest achievements.
Yeah. So we're really excited about what we've done with this program in Afghanistan, and we're looking forward to actually expanding and really taking advantage of some of the emerging technologies and ways that we can grow the project. But I think if there was one real takeaway, I think the secret for us has been really starting young and by using a multi-platform approach. And so far, we've been highly encouraged that programs like this really have the capacity for measurable and significant behavior change. So thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit as much as we've enjoyed producing Bakshi Simsim. We have some of our partners actually here from Afghanistan. It's very exciting. And we're happy to answer questions later. And we have also handouts about the program. If you're really interested, feel free to take one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clemence and Danny. I'm not sure if we as moderators are supposed to make comments about the Comm talks, but I just can't resist to say that I obviously was transported 40 plus years back when I watched Plaza Sésamo in Latin America, and I'm sure many of you did watch Sesame Workshop shows as well. So thank you for a very inspiring presentation.
Ensures the operation